An Eastern Cape man who has been accused of murdering his girlfriend abandoned his bail application in the East London Magistrate's Court on Monday. Alutha Pasile, 25, made a brief appearance in the court and is charged with the alleged murder of Nosicelo Mtebeni, 23, a law student at the University of Fort Hare, as well as defeating the ends of justice. Mtebeni's dismembered body was found in 2 plastic bags. The university will shut down tomorrow in remembrance of Mtebeni. The Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane joins us now to speak about this and other incidents of gender-based violence in the province and what they're doing to stem it. A very good evening to you, Premier, and thank you so much for speaking to us.
Good evening, Tsepiso. Good evening to your viewers as well. Thank you very much for having me here.
You've obviously condemned this incident of violence. This is not the first, especially around Fort Hare. I remember it was in February last year that the Women's Caucus, through your legislature, spoke out against incidents of gender-based violence, particularly rape at the University of Fort Hare. Why do you think this particular university in your province finds itself at the heart of another gruesome gender-based violence incident?
Well, I can't really attribute that to the university itself. Unfortunately, I'm not in the university. I'm speaking in abstract around these matters, but it's a concerning issue which to us mirrors what is happening in the society at large. Unfortunately, it actually finds itself there. And as you see that these are students, but some of these issues are happening where they reside or where they stay. So you can't easily say probably it's a university issue per se. It happens that these students are actually part of the university as we speak. We are very much concerned, as you say, and we are really condemning these incidents of gender-based violence and femicide. Indeed, we made an initiative last time as government to reach out to Fort Hare to say, how do we partner to make sure that we've got safe campuses to our young students, particularly female students who are in these universities, and but also bring every government resource closer as we are working hard on implementing our rapid response plans to fight this gender-based violence and femicide. So we believe that we still have a room to get our heads together with the university. I know university is working with the municipality here in Buffalo City now to make sure that they look for solutions to bring about a proper safety environment for our students where they reside.
So how do we go about that, Premier? And this is the point that I'm making. We're not necessarily pointing fingers at the University of Fort Hare, but it is an acknowledgement of a pre-existing problem if the Women's Caucus has called on the Vice-Chancellor of the university to create a safer space for female students, whether they reside on campus or outside. And we're talking also about the efficacy of those programs. We were speaking to the one of the SRC members at Fort Hare who is male and who is saying that part of the problem is that some of his male colleagues find it difficult to participate in trauma counselling or whatever counselling, showing that there is a deeper problem that may be the root cause of these incidents. Your thoughts on this?
How to go about it? The Office of the Premier, as mandated nationally, is coordinating all government departments and civil society organizations in the implementation of the National Strategy Plan on Gender-Based Violence in the province. Universities are not ivory towers. They actually are not living in the vacuum. They are part of the society we are in. We expect the
Okay, we seem to be having some sound challenges with the Premier. If I could just ask you to repeat your sentence and possibly unmute if you have gone on mute, Premier.
Yes, I was muted. Thank you very much, Tsepiso, again. I was just indicating that how to go about this is that the Office of the Premier is coordinating all government departments as well as civil society organizations with all institutions of higher learning because they are part of our ecosystem. They are no longer ivory towers. What is important is to have leadership of those institutions integrating on the plans that we are having to respond to the National Strategy Plan on Gender-Based Violence in the province. And we are working towards ensuring that if we work effectively around that space. We do have a multi-sectoral gender-based violence rapid response team in the province that includes your SABC, NPA, Department of Justice, NPO, and government departments, which is meant to help us tackle these issues on an ongoing basis. We're also working with the men's sector, coordinated by the House of Traditional Leaders. So we are almost reaching out in every corner of the society to make sure that we are embracing each other, we are on board, we are stopping these unfortunate incidences that we are seeing destroying our young people.
And I'm glad you speak about the traditional leadership. So there's often be conversations at odds with each other when we talk about tradition and culture. And some of these flagship projects that you are part of are about creating and engendering gender equality so that nobody is left behind and nobody feels like they themselves are the problem. So where do you think the stickler points are? Are we alienating boy children or men in some of these conversations? How can that be fixed? And also, just how young are we starting with these projects to make sure that the boy child grows up with that understanding of gender equality, that there is no superiority or lording over girl children or women, that they don't make them properties of men?
Correctly so, so you would understand the situation we have in the country as part of the transformation agenda we are pursuing, the challenge of the patriarchal relations in our society. That's why we have programs of family preservations that seeks to strengthen and support families to ensure that we inculcate this culture of every young person, particularly the boy child, to understand that what is it to be a man, what is it to be a boy at a very the early stages. That kind of development is quite important for us to address the challenges that we see. Look at these people who are involved in these issues are young people, and also many of these young people, they happen to be exposed to all the challenges of the society out there, because what we see, what we're talking about now, epitomizes the moral decay of the society we have. The issues of drugs, drug abuse, and all those issues that are really part of life of that we're seeing. There's no normal person who can really do what we've seen, to dismember that kind of, that body of that young lady, like that. If you were just in your normal sense, there's something completely wrong with that. I'm not sure about that, but I'm saying from where I'm seated, but there's something funny that is going on, and which we'll have to work deeper than what we see in the eye in ensuring that we reach out and try to support and make sure that we heal our society out of all these problems. It's very unfortunate what we've seen. It has been happening. More than 10 kids have died in the university over the recent history, and which is something that can be stopped. We've got to stop, but you can't have police policing every student at the university. So we've got to work as a system. We've got to work with the university, young people taking responsibility, knowing as well where to be involved, how to be involved, what can we do. Government is available. Government has actually created a conducive environment to support, as I'm saying, but it will not be enough, because these things, the gender-based violence, the painful picture about it, it happens in our households. It happens in our bedrooms. Those whom we think should be protected, their loved ones, are actually the ones who are destroying their loved ones.
Thank you so much for your time in speaking to us, Premier Oscar Mabuyane on the Eastern Cape Province. And we'll continue this conversation when we speak to the Minister of Women later on. For now, let's take a quick break.